Mega.
Right, absolutely. Thanks, Daryl, for giving us those details. Now, the Hindu religious organization ISKCON has alleged that its center in Bangladesh's capital Dhaka was burnt down earlier today. ISKCON's Kolkata Vice President Radharamn has posted on X. He said that the ISKCON Namhatta Centre was burnt down in Bangladesh. The deities of Lakshmi Narayan and all items inside the temple were burnt down completely. Earlier, there were miscreants that set fire to the Radha Krishna temple and the Lakshmi Narayan temple as well, which fall under the Namhatta Centre, which is located in Dhour village under the jurisdiction of Turag police station. The ISKCON leader told that the targeted attacks on the members of the community go on unabated, adding that despite ISKCON drawing attention of the interim government in Bangladesh, not much has been done by the police and the administration to assuage their grievances and address their concern. There were agitations that have erupted in several parts of West Bengal, Tripura and other parts of India as well over the alleged atrocities on Hindus in Bangladesh and the arrest of the religious leader and Hindu monk Chinmoy Krishna Das in the neighbouring country. ISKCON had claimed earlier that many of its centres and temples were being forcibly shut down in Bangladesh. Let's delve deep into this concerning issue that has caused grief to Hindus and Indians in the country. I have with me Advocate Hassan Tariq Chaudhary. He is the advocate of the Supreme Court of Bangladesh. He is also the Vice President of the Confederation of the Lawyers of Asia and the Pacific. He is a human rights defender, writer and activist. He is a bureau member of the International Association of Democratic Lawyers. He is Secretary of COLAP. He is involved with many activities of the United Nations and the International Criminal Court. He graduated from the University of London in United Kingdom. He is located right now in Bangladesh. Thank you, Advocate Hassan Tariq Chaudhary, for joining me on the telecast. My first question to you about this complete utter lawlessness in the country that you reside in. The judiciary is under attack. The Supreme Court judge just a few days ago was thrown eggs at in the courtroom. There was a lawyer that has been killed in broad daylight on the streets of Bangladesh. Is the judiciary itself under attack?
Thank you, Megha. The thing is that we have to understand the current situation. The situation in Bangladesh is very much volatile and uncertain nowadays because we are passing a situation aftermath of a popular uprising by the common people and the fall of a previous regime. And because of this situation, the judiciary and the police administration and the local administrations, civil bureaucracy, including the military bureaucracy, even including the Foreign Affairs Department, all are under a process of reshuffling. So the maintenance, the regular activities of all of the departments are in a very much fluid situation. So regarding the judiciary, since there was a controversy regarding the appointment of judges, there was a controversy regarding the disposal of the cases in the highest court and in the district courts. So therefore, there is an aggrievedness, there is some sort of dissatisfaction among the litigant and among the common people. But particularly, we cannot say that there is a serious attack or there is an attack against the judiciary. Regarding the
but do you think it has such an incident, does it cause concern amongst the people of Bangladesh and of course across the countries and international organizations that a Supreme Court judge of Bangladesh has been attacked in the courtroom? There is a lawyer that has been killed in broad daylight, and at this point of time, despite some paltry arrests that have been made, no stringent strong action that has been taken. Such an incident is a rarity to be found in any country. How do you justify it?
We are not justifying the derogating the judges and the court and the incident that was happened in a particular bench of the High Court and the ways some individual lawyer insulted the sitting judges at that time. Nobody accept, and all the lawyers in the Supreme Court of Bangladesh condemn this event, and the Honorable Chief Justice he convened a full court meeting regarding the discussion of the current situation of the highest judiciary. At the
Okay.
same time, he urged for the interim government to ensure further security for the highest court and as well as the district court, so that there cannot be any further incident in future to which destabilize the judiciary. But
All right.
in reality, there is a dissatisfaction, there is a concern, there is an uncertainty is prevailing among the lawyers and also among the litigants.
Absolutely. Let's also shift our focus to the case that has been brought up by the Awami League leader in the International Criminal Court against Bangladesh Chief Advisor Mohammed Yunus. What do you make of it?
I think this is not the proper time to comment, because we do not have a detail about the filing of the case and the procedure, because actually the people's claim is that the previous regime is responsible for a mass murder of agitating people who were demanding a quota reform at that time, and this was highly condemned by all the conscious and common people of our country, including the lawyers. We condemned it. So if we want to bring the mass murder before the court or before the ICC, we have to deal the case one by one, case to case basis.
Okay.
The murder of the mass murder on the common people during the regime change, during the mass uprising is one thing, and aftermath there was a killing on the police forces, there was a attack and some sort of incident happened on the religious and ethnic minorities. That is also separate case. So we have to deal all these cases with a separate merit and separate ingredients one by one.
Okay. Advocate Hassan, in the recent days there has been an appeal that has been made by the government of Bangladesh asking the Supreme Court to amend the constitution of Bangladesh, remove the word secular from its constitution. Do you think Bangladesh is now being run by a bunch of fundamentalists and radicals?
I don't think so, because of the officially the interim government and what they claim, this is a non-partisan interim government and not belongs and not affiliated with any particular political party or ideology. They only claim that they are upholding the spirit of the people's uprising, which demanded rule of law, which demanded inclusiveness, and which demanded heralded for a rule of law and also justice and openness and liberalism in the Bangladeshi society. So as the chief advisor said, that they strongly believe on the peace, they strongly believe on inclusiveness, and they strongly carry forward the idea of liberalism and pluralism. So, and he also said to the news media that you are free now, and you can free to talk out of fear, any sort of fear. So if there is no fear,
when you're talking about how the chief advisor advocates and practices pluralism, inclusiveness in the country, secularism that allows for different ethnicities, communities, religious communities to come together and live in harmony, do you think that is reflective on the ground, particularly against the atrocities on the Hindu minorities? There have been a number of them that have been killed, temples have been desecrated, and there are Hindu idols that have been destroyed.
You see, day before yesterday, the chief advisor invited all the active national political parties in his office to have a common national unity and consensus regarding the protection of the religious minority and ethnic minority, as well as maintain the communal harmony in Bangladesh. And practically what we see in practice we see that there is a lawlessness and there is a communal attack, and there is also we are see the muscle twisting of the radical religious forces in the field. So we are not actually we are not actually watching the implementation of the words and the spirit what the interim government said in their office in the public. So it is a great concern for the secular people and the peace-loving people of Bangladesh that the talk, the rhetorics of the interim government and the reality is something different. So there is a double standard.
We see visual evidence. We see these rioters coming out and attacking the lawyer who was defending this former ISKCON priest who is behind bars. How do you also have to react to the fact that the government has not been able to provide him a defense attorney so that he can fight the case?
The reality is that we have to go to the fact what happened in Chittagong regarding the Sadhu Chinmay Das. I told in your channel earlier that when Sadhu Chinmay Das case was brought before to the court, then the court in fact rejected the bail, and within half an hour court provided the certified copy of his judgment. And after that some lawyers who are aggrieved with that rejection of the bail, they protested. So it is a common practice in the judiciary that when learned court rejected any bail, there is a further provision to appeal or to go for further remedy. But unfortunately, there was a miscreant happens, and unfortunately, one young lawyer was killed by the mob, and that creates a serious situation at that time. But what we condemn, the aftermath of that killing, there was a mass attack on the lawyers by the mob, and also we see.
How do you also view? You think the stance of the government of Bangladesh is hugely skewed against Hindus in their country and against ISKCON, which is a religious organization that has been running for decades, not just in India but across the globe. It preaches the message of peace and harmony, and then the government of Bangladesh is projecting ISKCON as some kind of a religious quote unquote fundamentalist radical organization. How ludicrous is that?
I think it is not the official position of the government to characterize or symbolize ISKCON as a terrorist organization. Some radical political groups are hashtagging ISKCON, but ISKCON is one of the ingredients of Sanatan Awareness Alliance, that is Sanatan Jagarani Jot we call. So they raised an 8-point demand, and that fundamentally includes the demand for the protection of the religious minorities and the speedy trial of any attack on religious minority and their compensation and rehabilitation. So if some radical corner characterize or symbolize ISKCON as a terrorist organization, that is not fair. That is, we condemn it and we do not support it.
Okay.
The people do not support it. But the thing is that people are well aware that ISKCON is working across the globe, and they have a long working history in this country, in Bangladesh, and many dignitaries are involved with that particular organization.
Absolutely, and what is condemnable is the repeated attacks that have been happening on ISKCON priests, on ISKCON authorities, their temples, their centers that are being attacked. The latest one, visuals on our screens of one of the ISKCON centers that have been attacked.
Yes.
Just 24 hours ago, sir. So I don't know what the Muhammad Yunus government is doing in this regard. There has not been a single comment that has been made condemning the assault on Hindu minorities that is taking place. So far, he is talking about ensuring peace and harmony, but he has not once mentioned about how these are targeted attacks on the Hindu minorities living in Bangladesh.
I humbly disagree with you that the interim government, I said earlier that there is a lack of capacity of the interim government, and I already mentioned why. But officially, the interim government led by Professor Yunus said that no attack will be tolerated or entertained by the government. Government is strongly against of the attack and instability created by the radical groups. But despite of this caution,
But there are
despite of
radical
this
groups who
warning,
are actually running the government.
in the government it is composed of the civil society members, university professors, lawyers. You see, there are 4 lawyers who are in the interim government, some university teachers, some economists, and also some environmental activists are there.
And
So
members
they
of the
are not
Jamaat-e Islami as well. All right, thank you
And also
for
one
joining
of
me. Thank you for joining me on the telecast and sharing your views. Moving on, in a major drug bust in Delhi, one man